There you go again, sneaking up on me. How are you doing today? It's me again, John, with Part-Time Hobbies. Remember last week I showed you guys how to make the Mickey symbol? It's nice, it's cute, it's kind of plain. How about this time we build upon what I showed you last time and see if we can add some more detail and see what we come up with. Eventually this is all going to fall into line with vinyl cutters, CNC machines, laser engravers, laser cutters. Hell, I could even probably show you how to embroider a patch if you wanted to with that. So stick around, let's take a look, and we'll jump back into Inkscape. Alright, but for now you can stay in there. It's kind of weird, you're creeping me out. Okay, so here we are back in Inkscape. The best part is, if you don't quite remember what the initial points are that you need to do, just follow the previous video I have, and I'll give you the basics of creating an outline and using your nodes themselves. But for now, I'm going to run through and I'm going to take this bad boy here, but instead of making just this basic one line shape, we are going to create this guy today. So follow the original one to make the basic outline. I'm going to run through this one and just follow along. You can always pause if you need to, rewind, because it's video. Remember, just the thing about this is that pretend you're cutting out construction paper. You need to have actual outlines set up in the paper for it to happen. Then you can put pieces on top of each other. Right now I'm not going to show you how to add different objects together to make them one object. We're just going to layer them on top of each other to make life a little bit easier. Sorry, my allergies are getting to me. I'll explain as I go and I'll tell you what I'm doing, but I'm going to try to get through this fairly quickly. We have draw Bezier curves and straight lines, which is B. You can see by the B at the end. You click on that, that allows you to create lines. It's always easiest to start with straight lines. What I'm going to do is set it up real quick with a red outline because it makes life a lot easier, and I can delete that because I don't need it anymore. I'm going to start with just the generic outline of the head itself because, like I said, I'm taking this piece of construction paper and I'm going to cut this out because I'm going to layer Mickey's face on top of the rest of it. You don't have to be precise at this point. Just close it off. When you go to this line, when you take the end of it and go over the box, it'll become one piece, which I think I missed. Yep, I missed. So I'm going to Control Z. I'm just going to start over. The mouse I have is horrible, so bear with me while I run this outline. We're going to go back and adjust where it actually is. Right now, as you can see, I'm just making corners. Nothing more, nothing less. I'm just F2 to get to edit, or N. I'm not using these. They're all just straight points. If you're not sure, Control A highlights all the nodes. Click it a couple times and make sure they're points. I'm going to start at one corner, just like last time. One point is going to go on the lines themselves. And you don't have to be 100% precise with this because when you zoom it out, it's not going to care about it that much. It looks gigantic right now, but it's not that big of a deal. Click the line out to make a curve. If you click on the line, it gives you these handles. Take these handles and adjust the line, the curve as you see fit. Each line handles that half of the, each of these node handles half the line. So as you can see, if I move it around, it creates an S curve. Stretch it out, it reaches further. So just try to mimic the curve that you're trying to copy over right now. And also remember, when we're done making these curves, there cannot be a point, because if you look right now, there's not they're not curves, they're points. So by selecting that one, clicking on this curve right here, make node smooth, it actually rounds them up, so it makes basically these two handles even with each other. Now the nice thing is you can click on one node and you can move it around if you need to. You can continue adjusting as you see fit. There we go. Now I'm going to fly through the rest of this and we'll be back on track with where we were on the first one. Alright, now the outline is done just like on the other one, except there's a couple more points because this one is going to be a little more detailed. There's more things to look at. So, one thing I want to show you before we get in further is down here in the bottom left corner you have fill none, which means it is transparent. Stroke red, which means that the path, the paintbrush stroke is red with a thickness of 1 millimeter. If you right click it, you can select different items. I like to go with 1/4 inches because it's really tiny, but it helps with showing you what you're looking at when you're zoomed in close. Oops. Some new thing they added, it's dumb, where you can rotate the canvas. Sorry about that. So as you can see here, I'm not 100% on, but when you zoom out, you cannot tell. And it won't change anything. So now what we're going to do is we're going to actually create the white outline of Mickey's face. As you can see, it's a completely separate line. So imagine taking black construction paper and you've now cut out this piece. You're going to lay it down. You're going to take and you're going to cut out the outline in white construction paper to lay on top of it. And we'll go through and we'll add more as we go, but I'm going to go back through and do the exact same thing I just did here. Set points, smooth them out as I need to, rotate them, twist them, and we'll continue on. One thing that popped up here I want to show you is you'll see that this line, when I tried making it, it's snapping to it. That is thanks to our buddy up here in the top right corner, enable snapping or %sign. It has limits, it has uses for some time, but it's very limited for when I use it, so make sure you click it and turn it off so when you get close to something it doesn't automatically snap to the other points also. I did it automatically and didn't even think about it. One nice thing is you can actually add nodes anywhere on these lines you want. If you just double click on the line inside of edit mode, you double click on a spot, it'll create a node for you. It's good if you just really can't fine tune it or you just want a little bit more control, you double click and now you can create, now you've made a separate node so you can help tweak it a little bit more. More points means more detail. So don't forget to do that if you need to. And now we have the second outline in the Mickey head. If you click on the red line, drag it out, you can see it. Well, it kind of looks like a toad. But now we're going to build on top of that. And this is literally all you do. You rinse and repeat over and over and over again. Eventually I'll show you how to change colors. So that they can line up with each other. But for now, we're just going to focus on making all the different parts. So keep chugging along and see you at the other end. One thing you notice is that I'm not making these smooth by clicking on the dot and selecting it up here. What happens is if you hold down, if you have a dot selected or not even selected, I'll just show you on these two real quick. As you can tell, they're points and they're not smooth. If you hold down the control key and then click on it, click on the dot itself, it changes it. And basically, if you hold down, if you keep clicking, it'll go from sharp to this, to this, to this, and then back over. So if you find that you're in a groove and you're rough line through these and you just want to make that smooth once, hold down control, click it once, it's now smooth, and you can continue on. The nice thing is, if you have something that's symmetrical, two different items, which I don't think these are, but it's a good example, is if you select the one item and then control D, you've now just slapped a duplicate on top of it. You can either go to, where is it at? I'm so used to doing this that I don't even use shortcuts anymore. Here you go, flip horizontal or H. You've now rotated. You can actually, and you can use your arrow keys on your keyboard to move it around. Now you can use this to modify it, you know, double click the points and you can adjust the points as you go. Or if it's exactly symmetrical, you don't have to create it twice. You can only make it once and then copy it over. But these are not symmetrical, so I'm going to go through and retrace the other eye. And now we've completed this. Like I said, I'm not going to show you how to actually permanently join all these items together to make them one object. I'm impatient. I'm going to show you how to do it now anyways. So the cool thing is there's several different ways to actually join items together. If you go to path, you'll see you have union, difference, intersection, exclusion, division. There's a whole ton of them. The little icon kind of shows you what each one does. Union just kind of makes everything one item. Difference is it'll cut it out. Intersection, it is keeps whatever's intersected, so on and so forth. So normally either intersection or union is the only things that I really do for the most part. And sometimes it's just kind of click and miss and you gotta hard to remember which one is which. So that's what we're gonna do now. I'm gonna show you unedited, me messing up. First things first, we're gonna change this, which right now it's grouped, so we got to ungroup it. As you can see, Control-Shift-G. I'm going to make this into a black outline with no red. Remember, regular click selects the color of the inside, shift click selects the color, cell phone. Shift click selects the color of the outline. So shift click red. Let me select the item, shift click red. One more time. There it is. Shift none. There it is. Now that we have this, we're going to select the outline and Mickey's face itself. Actually, before we do that, we're going to group the two eyes together, since we know those are going to be together. We're going to do Control Plus, which is union. Even though they're separate, you can still join them together into one object. So now they are one up. Let's try this again. One object. We're going to make those black also. We're going to select the face itself and we're going to make that white with no color outline. We're going to select the mouth. We're going to make that black with no outline. Now if you notice, the tongue disappeared. It's because this is layers, like literally stacking items on top of each other. You'll see up here under the selection tool you have lower selection to the bottom, lower down one step, raise it one step, right to the top. So we're going to lower one step at a time, and now the item behind it or underneath it now shows up. So we're going to select the mouth, we're going to select the tongue, and we're going to do Control-Shift-6, which does this. It's now joined the two together. You can figure it out by going to Edit Nodes, and you'll see it shows everything as one. And remember now, Shift F6 or Control F6 is intersection, so it only keeps whatever's intersected, which means that it removed this portion and it only showed the intersected parts there. Now you're going to say the eyes here are the wrong color. It's because we haven't joined everything else yet. So now we're going to take the outside and the inside, and we're going to do the same thing. Control Shift 6. It's now intersected those together. We're going to remove the stroke, Shift None. Last but not least, we're going to make this the correct color. But now they're not still together because this piece is separate, and that's separate, this is separate. What we're going to do first is we're going to join these together. Control plus, as you can see now they're one piece. Shift the face, Control Shift 6, intersect. Now all that is one piece. And last but not least, and if you see these goofy lines, it's my video card. As you can see, I zoom in and out, it fixes the problem. Last one, Control Shift 6. This thing is now not joined, not grouped, but it's actually one item. If you go to Edit, all the dots show up at once, all the nodes, because this is one item. Now you don't have to worry about anything intersecting, and you can cut it out on any other machine you want. And this is one item, which is the way SVGs need to be to work properly. So again, Control Shift S, save it as you want, Mickey face, and voila, you are done. Give yourself a pat on the back, clap, do whatever you want. Don't go outside and shoot guns in the air, that's illegal. Other than that though, we're done for today, and I'm going to show you some more soon enough. Thank you. Bye.
See you real soon.